I know. Hello, everybody. Big show today, Zoe. It's only 8 weeks to Christmas.
Crazy.
And you know what that means?
So many presents for me.
No, it means the Christmas parties will start soon. And you know what that'll lead to?
Presents for me?
No. Hangovers is what I mean. But we can all rest easy because today Jo Stanley has all the good oil on hangover remedies for us.
You know, she's a smart cookie, that Jo. Let's get on with the show then.
Today, a massive health issue of our time, the dangers of sugar and how to break the sweet habit.
Also, millions of Aussies suffer gum disease, why your toothbrushing might be letting you down.
If untreated, that's when it eventually leads to tooth loss.
And avoiding that next day sore head after a few drinks the night before.
My go-to hangover cure is jumping into the cold, freezing ocean.
So join us for the show for everyone who wants to live their life just that little bit better.
Can we relearn how to be happy?
Let's all get well, stay well, live well and look fabulous. Right here in the House of Wellness. Alrighty, great to be with the gang here on the couch. So much important stuff on the show coming up today. Zoe, we're taking a really important look at sugar in our diets.
Yes, you know, doctors used to call salt the white poison, but I actually think sugar might have taken the lead on that one.
Yeah.
We're going to look closer at the problem and meet a viewer who is going to let us film her doing a sugar detox, and apparently it is so tough. GQ.
I bet it is. Gerald, sugar, I mean, it's a dramatic label, isn't it? The new white poison.
Yes, it is. And we've got to be careful. Sugar's a carbohydrate, so we've just got to be careful we don't lump the blame on just one single thing. There's a few more other things involved.
We'll take a close look at it. Can't wait for that. What else you got for us today?
We're going to be talking about energy in women, particularly filling in nutrient deficiencies. So we're looking forward to that.
Energy.
Fantastic.
We need it.
I need it.
James Tobin is going to join us as well a bit later on to help us with something we probably should have learnt when we were 2 or 3, brushing our teeth. Now, apparently, most of us are getting it wrong.
Getting it wrong. Interesting. But first up, Jo.
Yes.
You've been looking at the age-old dilemma, okay? So you go out, you have a few too many drinks, you know, do you have a hangover the next day? Possibly. Is it unavoidable?
Well, look, we've all had those nights that are awesome, but they lead to very unpleasant mornings.
Yes.
So apart from the obvious, which is obviously trying to be sensible, not always possible, are there any genuine ways to avoid or cure a hangover?
It's not been named the silly season lightly. After 12 months of working for the boss, we all see that yearly finish line, and let's just say we can get a little too thirsty for our own good. Because the Christmas season is wildly accepted as the booziest time of year for Aussie workers, with December 14th expected to be Australia's biggest day of the year for at-work hangovers. So while we at the House of Wellness do not condone excessive drinking, if you're someone who's found themselves suffering after one too many, start taking notes, because the next few minutes might just save you a world of hurt.
When you think about it, this is your night out in a blender. A few glasses of wine, some beers or cider, maybe a cheeky tequila chaser, and then possibly you finished the night off with a greasy hamburger. Oh, look at that. No wonder we feel so sick. This is what our bodies are trying to process. But you know, the great thing about hangovers is that they're avoidable.
Hangover cures are like jokes. Everyone knows one they like, but not all of them work.
My go-to hangover cure is a Barocca the night before you go to bed.
It's like sober you sending a message through time to drunk you.
Exactly right.
And then there are the edible antidotes.
Nice bowl of yogurt and some orange juice just to level out the stomach.
Kebabs, fries, burgers.
Ask 100 people and you'd probably get 100 personal remedies.
My go-to hangover cure is jumping into the cold, freezing ocean the morning after.
I also like to take a hot bath, something relaxing.
Have you ever combined the two? Have you ever taken yourself off to a hot bath without, I got a kebab?
Okay, ladies, let's be clear. Eating kebabs while bathing is not to be condoned. One is always more than enough. Now, the anatomy of a hangover starts long before your first drink. So here are a few things to think about before you leave the house.
To avoid the punish of the next day, there are some very simple things you can do. 20% of alcohol is absorbed through the stomach. So before you head out, you want to have a beautiful, nutritious meal. High fibre foods like broccoli and asparagus, good fats, and a lovely lean piece of protein.
Dr. Sam Hay firmly believes that what you do in the hours before you start drinking pays off in the hours after you pull up.
There's all the things you can do the night before which are going to make a difference. It's getting a good night's sleep, big meal before you start drinking, a glass of water between every drink, then that blood alcohol level will only rise slowly, so it'll have less effect.
Okay, now the night begins, and typically after one standard glass of beer or wine, your behaviour will be normal. Up to 0.03, you're technically still sober.
Alcohol is actually an effective anti-anxiety drug. You know, have one beer and we feel great. It does lower that sense of stress, and you know, that's the main reason why we come home at the end of the day and have a glass of wine.
It feels good.
It does, but it quickly turns into a depressant.
But your body only takes 6 minutes to react to alcohol. So once you've had 2 standard drinks in an hour, you'll be feeling the effects start to snowball. Yes, you'll be talkative and feel confident, but if you were to try your hand at games like Operation or Jenga, your eye-hand coordination and balance are affected.
To start with, you know, we reduce concentration, reduce problem-solving ability, and then issues with our balance, coordination, motor control.
Now, you may be well into your celebrations by now, but even if you've had more than you care to admit, you can still help yourself.
There are chemicals called congeners that are only found in dark drinks like red wine and bourbon that's said to contribute to a hangover, so you could stick to clear spirits. Thanks. And of course, we want to stay hydrated and slow down our drinking, so don't forget our trusty friend, the glass of water. Cheers. Okay, so are there any miracle hangover cures?
Look, there are a couple of other myths that they say aren't too bad. They reckon that having sex the next day does help.
Oh, you are so right. I mean, I've heard.
So interesting. A little insight into your life.
Sometimes if you get the cameras on you, and I mean, a doctor was recommending it, so it must be.
It's got to be good.
Must be right.
Oversharer.
I'm sorry. But, you know. My husband's thrilled. That we shared that. So we had some wonderful suggestions for remedies, old wives' tales, things that might help you with a hangover. Here's the first one.
So my boyfriend, he eats Vegemite from the jar with a spoon.
Oh. Would you imagine anything? Like, it would dehydrate you so badly.
So much
surely.
What is the reasoning behind that?
There's a bit of evidence behind that, actually.
Oh, Ed.
Calm down.
It doesn't look... But
salty.
It's salty and it's got B vitamins. So, but on a piece of toast or something...
That's what it needs, toast.
It's not so bad.
No, thank you.
No, all right. Here's another suggestion.
The most unusual hangover cure will probably be pickle juice, like a glass of pickle juice to take the next day.
What?
No.
Who are these people?
Well, apparently that comes from Scandinavian origin. A glass of pickle juice.
Kind of like a pickle, but the juice.
Yes.
Oh, well, I can't see
Don't do
any...
it.
Drink up, come on.
I really... GQ,
Isn't there vinegar in that or something?
The thing is, I haven't had the joy of the hangover yet.
No.
This one is sober.
But you may get one after that. So,
What would the purpose
Don't
of
have another
pickle juice
sip.
well,
be?
because it's
not bad.
It's again, it's fermented, so it's the juice of the pickle. But it's probably one reason why you would stay off alcohol altogether if you knew that you were going
had
to
to
have
drink
that
that after.
Yeah, this is true.
What else
Many people suggested this remedy.
Morning after, if I don't do the water the night before, it's bacon egg roll and a can of Coke.
Yeah. Which, I relate to that.
I understand why you're trying them all now.
Yeah. This is my go-to, although sometimes I'll bring in a packet of salt and vinegar chips, but I call this the Black Doctor.
Oh,
Do you
good.
really
Yes.
feel like it helps?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. You've never...
Well, look, not a shred of evidence to say it would help, but thinking about it, it's a bit oily with those things in it.
And the bread to suck up some of that
So
alcohol.
as an afterwards, it's actually not a bad snack before you go out.
Gosh, it makes the calories build up though, doesn't it?
Oh, when you add the sugar that's in the alcohol to begin with, you're right.
But at that stage, calories are probably the last thing on your mind.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and also alcohol makes us more attractive. So
yeah,
doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter if you've got extra hips on you.
Yeah.
What's the last?
No. So, but let's remember, we all, I think, the hair of the dog is a very popular remedy. Is there any truth to that one?
I think it's part of the punishment, Jo. I think it's sort of bad, but not as bad as what I feel, so let's do it. No, I can never work out the hair of the dog.
What about having some paracetamol the night before you go to bed with like a heap of water? Would that help?
Well, remember, alcohol's liver toxic. Paracetamol is liver toxic. You're potentially adding to the load on your liver. So, no.
So the next morning is better?
Even again, your liver's struggling to keep up.
Oh, OK.
Thank you.
I note I didn't get a Bloody Mary as part of that test.
No,
What else you got?
well, this is one last very interesting conversation that I had.
Yeah, so I've got a mate of mine. It sounds a bit unorthodox, but he swears by it, and I think it's pretty ridiculous. He says, have a glass of olive oil before you go out. Apparently it lines the stomach.
A glass?
Yeah, a whole
glass.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you can't.
Could you imagine?
Serious.
Go for it, Ed. Come on. The whole glass.
No, he can't. No, that's... Oh, Ed.
It really is olive oil. It's not even stunt
It's really
olive
not
oil.
fair.
No, it's real olive oil. Olive
Don't
oil's
do it.
good
Don't
for you.
make him do
it's
it.
It's part of the Mediterranean diet.
Well, hurry up then. We've got to go to a break.
It lines your tummy. Remember, Jo said in her segment that you eat something before you go out. An oily food is a good idea. But that's the principle. So particularly through the Mediterranean, that's a very common hint.
We saw the salmon in your
Yes,
clip,
true.
so-
All I would say is if you were to drink this, just don't trust a fart. Because I think that's going to... It's not going to end well.
Especially with the alcohol and the burger.
Yes. Thank you,
really
everyone.
dangerous.
It's been fun
We
being
are
in your
now
lab.
imagining that.
Stay with us. We've got more after the break here on the House of Wellness. Cheers.
Feeling tired, fatigued, or just run down, ladies? Stick around. The A to Z of vitamins may help you get the skip back in your step.
But next, we're testing the nation on our teeth brushing skills.
The pink marks, it's a plaque that you missed. Oh, yeah.
Stay with us. We're back after the break. Welcome back. Well, let's talk about our pearly whites now. We all know how important it is to brush our teeth regularly. How often do you brush yours, Zoe?
Twice a day, obviously. I'm fanatical about this beautiful mouth. You?
Oh, I'm 3 times a day, at least, and I brush for 2 minutes per time.
Is that it? I do about 2.5.
It's not a competition. Anyway, dental hygiene isn't about how often or how long you brush. The secret is how you brush. And as James Tobin found out, you get that wrong and there can be some serious consequences.
Our teeth will be with us from the start of our lives and hopefully still there at the end. But to endure a life of eating and drinking and nourishing our body, we have to look after them. We can't take them for granted or we'll lose them. And the biggest cause of this is gum disease. It occurs when the build-up of plaque begins to irritate the gums. If this plaque is not brushed off, it hardens to form tartar, which can cause an infection in the gums. If left untreated, it can have dire consequences for us.
Here's a fact for you. 1 in 5 Australians will suffer from gum disease at some stage in their life. That's nearly 5 million of us. A pretty alarming figure for this day and age. So, today, we're taking a deeper dive. We're looking at how well we actually clean our teeth and what can happen if we don't. Because you don't want to end up looking like this.
So let's start with the worst case scenario. And to find out exactly what poor dental hygiene can look like, I caught up with leading periodontist Dr. Susie Burrell. She's the last line of defence and the perfect person to explain the effects of gum disease.
How does gum disease affect people on a day-to-day basis?
It can cause problems with a patient's ability to chew. Otherwise, it can cause a bit of embarrassment when we're smiling, so there might be build-up on the teeth. The gums might look red. So it really does affect people on both a functional and a cosmetic level. If untreated, that's when it eventually leads to tooth loss.
Well, that's gum disease at its worst. But they say prevention's better than a cure. So how do we stop things from getting to that? And when we put a bunch of everyday Australians under the microscope, how will they fare?
Dentist Luke Cronin has brought his sink to the people here at a busy weekend market to find out just that and also explain what we can do to combat the onset of gum disease.
We're going to get them to chew a disclosing tablet. That's going to show the plaque that they haven't been able to brush off with the manual toothbrush. Then we're going to try with an electric toothbrush and see how well they went. Oh, wow. So what you can see there, all of those, the pink marks, it's a plaque that you missed.
Oh, yeah.
Surprising.
That's great. Looks like you've eaten Ribena berries.
So do you think you'd brush your teeth well?
Well, I do. I brush everywhere. I even brush my tongue, the sides, the roof, everywhere.
OK, so hang on, we were talking about this before. So Carly brushes the roof of her mouth, she brushes the sides of the walls of her mouth. Is that necessary?
No, that's not necessary. It's really important to concentrate on the part where the teeth and the gum join. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try doing it with an electric toothbrush, and then we're going to repeat this process and see how you went.
Sounds good.
I kind of like this look.
You like that?
Are you happy to stay like that for the rest of the day?
Maybe for Halloween. Not now.
Not normally.
Not normally.
All right, good luck.
With its smaller head and oscillating action, the electric toothbrush like this one is doing all the work, and it gets into the areas a traditional toothbrush can't. It allows more efficient cleaning without the effort, and also lets you know if you're putting too much pressure on your teeth and gums.
It's really important, slow circles and brushing where the gum and the teeth join.
While brushing correctly and having the right equipment certainly presents better results, when it comes to doing right by our teeth and gums, there are 3 key things to remember. 1, brush for 2 minutes. 2, do it twice a day. And 3, flossing is critical. And the results speak for themselves.
Wow, what a change. So you can see how much work the electric toothbrush takes away from you.
So what do you think, what have you learned that you're doing wrong, and what are you going to change now in the future?
I think I've learned, wow, a manual toothbrush makes a big difference, and probably not to brush as hard. I'm sort of a hard brusher.
And just one last thing, stick your tongue out.
That's still
Looks great.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love one of those machines at home, but then you'd never stop brushing your teeth, would you?
Be obsessed, but fun and clean. Now, isn't it fascinating that gum disease is all the rage, though? We think about keeping our teeth pearly and white, but gum disease is pretty prevalent, and it comes down to the technique that we were seeing there.
Yes, it does. And as Dr. Luke reminds us so often, gum disease is related to heart disease, Ed, so it's intimately linked. You've got to look after your gums.
And Dr. Luke knows all things teeth.
Yes.
He said that it's important to have a little round.
That's right. Because it gives you better access. So.
This is the Oral-B Genius 9000. Very fancy.
Lovely.
It doesn't matter, does it?
No, the smaller head allows better access to your teeth, and that's what it's all about.
Gotcha.
So the smaller the better.
The 2-minute mark, so important. Alrighty, I bet everybody is heading off to brush your teeth. Do it for 2 minutes, do it correctly right now, and we'll meet you back here right after the break on the House of Wellness.
Later, we learn the truth about sugar in our diets, and there's nothing sweet about it.
But next, a summer workout for your taste buds. Yep, it's fruit salad season. Stay with us, we're getting fruity in the kitchen here on the House of Wellness.
Today's recipe is a superfood delicacy straight from the tropics into your kitchen. Start by combining toasted coconut flakes with turmeric, chia seeds, lime zest and juice, and chopped mint. In a separate bowl, combine rock melon, pineapple, strawberries, and halved blueberries. Toss both fruit salads, then bring them together to make a tropical escape on a plate.
Yes.
There we go. Roasted coconut fruit salad with BioGland's chia seeds. I love fruit salads, the taste of summer. I've eaten raw Vegemite for you today, drunk olive oil and pickle juice.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
You know, that is definitely a bowl of goodness right there, Gerald.
No, you know what I'm wrong about.
Please don't eat with your mouth.
No,
Oh, my goodness.
Go ahead.
Now, you were telling me, GQ, that
Yes.
the chia seeds are really adding a great boost to nutrition there.
Been around, Zoe, since the Aztecs. It's actually part of the mint family. Would you believe that?
Mint?
Salvia hispanica. It's a mint and rich in omega-3s. So good for you.
Yummo. I will second that. Okay.
Wash it down with some olive oil, Ed.
I will not do that. It is time for your calls now, a favourite part of the segment. And We hit the streets again today to see... I can't speak.
Yeah, I'll do this one for you. We hit the streets to see if we could answer some of your calls. Anthony from 5 Doc had this query.
Hi guys, my question is, you know those face masks that people wear to stop hay fever or disease or some of the pollution maybe in our big cities? I wanted to know, because I do suffer from hay fever, am I wasting my time or is one of those face masks a good idea?
This is why you don't eat on TV.
Yeah, don't eat on TV. I've always wondered this because, you know, I'm a bit of a germaphobe.
Yes.
Pro or against?
Look, I think there is a role for the masks, but there's lots of different quality masks, Zoe. Some are good, some not so good. So it depends what you're trying to repel. From a pollution perspective, I think they're pretty handy. But the easiest thing, and how often do we talk about it, is to irrigate your nose with isotonic saline without a preservative. At the end of the day, if you're walking around in the city or if it's windy and there's lots of pollen around, use the preventative strategies.
You do look a little silly wearing a little...
But on the plane, it must be good.
Why?
Because it's just like a germ fest.
But you probably don't want to be identified. So.
Oh, shush.
Let's grab this call. We've got Ivy standing by in Mont Albert, Victoria.
Just a few weeks ago, my feet started swelling, my ankles. And I'm just wondering if my blood is not flowing properly to my legs.
Circulation issues?
Yes, it is. And it's fairly common. It can be hormonal, Ivy, it can be heat, lots of things. So if you're on medications, worth chatting to the doctor about, because sometimes they cause pooling in your lower legs. There is a magnificent herb called horse chestnut. Funny name, but it strengthens the vein walls, so it stops pooling.
Clever.
Very interesting.
Great advice.
Try that. Okay. Next, we met Michaela from Maryland, who asked this question.
Sometimes I can get very up and down with my moods. Is there any diet or nutrition supplements that can help with that?
What do you think? She
Well,
looks like an adolescent.
I've grown up with 3 daughters, remember? I've seen everything.
Yes.
And in some, even though they're other people's responsibilities, still see a little bit of that. Look, it's a struggling time. You know, it's a time where you're making friends, you've got lots of pressures on to perform, school, uni, whatever. So, Michaela, nutrition, absolutely fundamental. A multivitamin, which we'll talk about later, with plenty of B, is also a great way just to balance things a little bit.
All righty, good luck with that. Let's go to Mary, who's on the phone finally from Brandon in Queensland. How can we help you out?
Recently, my fingernails have become very ridgy, and I want to know what's going on with my fingernails.
As we all check
Mary,
out.
I've got the Ridgy-Didge answer. No, this is silica. Silica is the mineral best in liquid gel form, 1 dose a day, takes time, and it solves that very quickly.
All righty, great advice. Keep the calls coming, and we can be reached via our website as well, at houseofwellness.com.au. Plenty more to come right after the break. Stay with us.
Still to come, the woman inspired by her hero to become a hero herself.
The hero in all of this is my dad.
But next, the war on sugar and how to detox your body from it. Stick around. We've got lots to come after the break here on the House of Wellness. Welcome back. Well, our next story is something we should all pay attention to. According to the Australian Health Survey, we all consume an average of 60 grams of sugar each day. That's something like 12 teaspoons of the sweet white stuff every single day.
Yeah, and if that hasn't got your attention, think of it like this. That's almost 22 kilos.
Whoa.
22 of these for every Australian every year.
Right.
With the medical impact of so much sugar weighing down our health systems, governments are now considering sugar taxes. That is how serious the problem has become.
Yep, so here to explain what sugar does to our health and what we can do about it is dietitian and nutritionist Susie Burrell. Hi, Susie.
Hi.
I mean, what's going on with our bodies? What does our body do with all this sugar?
Well, basically we store it. You know, a high sugar intake is one of the most common reasons people gain weight quickly. It's linked to an increased risk of diabetes. And of course, once you get a taste for the white stuff, it's really hard to stop. So it tends to be the more you have, the more you want. Now, in Australia, we get a huge amount of added sugars from things like our drinks. So our soft drinks, sports drinks, vitamin waters, and then our snack food and takeaway food. So on a daily basis, we're consuming huge amounts, and it's a habit, and it's a very bad habit for many of us.
All the sneaky sugars that are hidden,
Even
isn't
in
it?
bread.
So armed with this info, one of our brave viewers decided to do a detox for us. Susie set it out. Let's have a look at her story and, more importantly, her diet.
This is Sandra Perkovic, a regular office worker, and by her own admission, she has a little problem.
Yeah, I'm addicted to sugar. I mean,
I can't stop. I'm an addict, sugar addict.
When it comes to sugar consumption, it appears that Australians are simply not getting the message. Our health experts say all we need is 25 grams, or 6 teaspoons of it, a day. But Sandra's daily average is a lot sweeter. For breakfast?
Every single day, I absolutely have to have a can of Red Bull. In the average day, would usually be oats, creamy honey, or cinnamon and sugar.
Her lunch?
I'll usually end up with a Porto or KFC. I'll usually have a Coke with lunch.
Those cheeky snacks.
I'll have a morning snack. Usually it'll be a muffin bar. By the time it gets to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's not too early for a chocolate.
Let's not forget dinner and dessert.
So dinner's always takeaway. Every night, my favourite caramel biscuit ice cream with apple pies. Love.
So we asked her, how much sugar do you think you eat each day?
It'd be ridiculous. It'd make you sick, I think.
According to our calculations, she consumes a whopping 250 grams a day. And to drive that point home, we worked out how much sugar her body is processing every year.
Oh my, wow. That's disgusting. When you see it all like that, I can't keep living like this.
These buckets contain around 91 kilograms of sugar that Sandra eats every year. But apart from the obvious, Sandra has a very good reason to turn things around, and we're going to help her.
The main thing is I want to have a family and settle down, and at this point I wouldn't want my child to live like the way that I live. There's no way.
It's almost unbelievable, that amount of sugar she's consuming.
Now, I calculate a lot of nutritionals on people's diets, and even I was surprised with how much sugary drinks she had, desserts every day, chocolate bars. It's a huge load, and you can see the body gets used to having that much. So when you're not used to it, you think, oh my goodness, how could anyone have that much? But over time, you become desensitised to it, so you need more and more to get the hit.
Wow. Like it's really an addictive substance.
It's addiction. It has been shown in the brain, it lights up in a similar way to drugs. And so again, you're seeking out more and more of it. And if you don't have it, so for example, if you're having a Mars bar every day at the same time, and then the next day you don't have it, the brain is expecting it, so it seeks it out, which explains a lot of cravings, but also habitual food behaviour that occurs when you're having dessert every night or always having a Red Bull when you wake up in the morning.
I'm wondering why I always need that after dinner hit.
Yeah. Well,
fascinating.
What about when we detox? Now, Sandra, for the past week, has been on your detox diet. And to show you how it went, we got Sandra to film a daily diary for us. This is fascinating. Let's see how she got on across the 7 days.
So I've started my day off with breakfast. The oats went well. I tried that out with water instead of milk, which is different for me. Usually I have full cream milk. This headache is just out of control. Definitely be having a Panadol. I've just got really bad cravings right now, so having a little bit of soup before dinner. It's my detox soup. Celery, pumpkin, carrot, tomato, spaghetti bolognese. I can't wait. It's not a good day. I'm feeling so weak. I laid in bed last night and honestly just thought about chocolate and sugar, and I'm just dying for my Red Bull this morning, so I can't do this anymore. I'll quit. Nah, just kidding. Just cutting some onions. Having soup tonight. It's breakfast time. Nut spread with protein bread. I hated breakfast, to be honest, as well. Can't deal with that bread. And I mean, I'm just sitting at my desk at work today, really wanting to go to the vending machine and get a chocolate and get a vanilla Coke and anything else that will just give me that craving I'm dying for. I'm having a chicken salad for lunch today. Looking forward to that because I love chicken, I like salad. I want to stop craving sugar and I want to enjoy what I have. Yeah, I just want it all to be over, to be honest. I don't get to have dessert for the next 3 days. It's killing me. I need something. So, 1 day left of my sugar detox diet, but I love what I have for lunch today. Naked burrito. Don't know why I put an accent on, but that is my lunch. And I can see my little muffin top here on my belly going down, and yeah, I'm just feeling better in the clothes that I'm wearing, so that's what counts. It's day 7, my final day on the sugar detox diet. I can't believe I made it. My skin feels fantastic. I feel great. I feel so full of energy, and I couldn't be happier with the results. Something that I could not go a day without has now really opened my eyes and shown me that I don't even need it.
Well, what a week from hell it could be diarised as. But look who's joined us in the studio, Sandra Perkovic. Congrats on surviving the 7 days. You got through it.
I did. It was hard, but all worth it.
It would have been a shock, though, that much sugar.
Oh, yeah. Did you realise it would be so tough to give up sugar across this time period?
No, not at all. I mean, until I saw how much I was having in front of me, I didn't even realise how bad it'd gotten.
Well, you look perky and happy at the end of it, we must say. And the torture you went through by, like, day 2 or 3, what was the turning point for you?
Oh, the turning... I'm not quite sure where it kicked in, but I think I just woke up by day 3 or 4 and I was just so much energy to burn. I just wanted to, you know, just do whatever I could to kill time and run and walk and I don't know.
Wow. Wow, OK. So I'm really interested. I think you actually look quite different as well. What kind of transformation did Sandra's body go through?
Well, it's really interesting how the body reacts to going from eating really badly to re-energising and putting all the great nutrition in. Now, the first things that will happen is you'll have a withdrawal. So often headaches, extreme fatigue, constant cravings. You really feel pretty ordinary and it can go on as long as a week. But the way I structured this detox, because Sandra was having so much sugar and a lot of caffeine as well, I actually left a little bit of those things in the beginning to try and reduce the effect of the withdrawal, because what often people do, they cut everything out and they can't make it through. You know, she had incredible resolve and did incredibly well, but often for people, the pain of it is too great. So I did it gradually over that period of time. So by the time she transitioned away from withdrawing from so much caffeine, rehydrating with plenty of fluid, putting a lot of nutrition in from her vegetables, a lot of bulk in her food, so she wasn't hungry, then I could really take all of the sugar away. So at the end of the detox, she's probably only having, if anything, about 20 grams of sugars. And a lot of that was coming from fresh fruit and vegetables. So that was sort of the strategy in writing the detox, because if you can manage that first few days and lessen the effects so it's not so severe, people are going to do better on it and be able to maintain it.
In truth, we were looking at some of the meals going, yum, yum, oh, I'd like to eat that, yum. What was your sort of turning point, your changing of your mindset, I guess, from what you were having to some of the delicious options that were being presented to you?
Oh, it was just... The meals were really big portions and things. You know, they really filled me up and...
Your Mexicano bowl.
Yeah.
That was the wrong accent. That was the wrong accent.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was sweet. It looked delicious.
We do want to take you back in time now. Just a little reminder, have a look over here in front of us on the set. That's what you were consuming per year in sugar. Approximately 250 grams of sugar per day. Multiply that by a year, becomes the 91 kilos of sugar in those buckets. That was going through your body. It's more than 70 kilos or so than the average Australian does. So now you've made this turning point, your body's going to thank you so much for this.
Oh, I can feel it. I can definitely feel it already.
Sticking to it?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Good for
definitely.
you. Susie, thank you. Sandra, thanks for being our lab rat. We're all
you.
lab rats today, aren't we? By the way, if you're any member of your family would like to do Susie's sugar detox diet, you can find out more info on our website. Just Google House of Wellness Detox. Make sure you stay with us, everybody. We'll be back right after the break with plenty more here on the House of Wellness. And we're right across Australia on the 7 Network and the Prime Network. A show for everyone who wants to live a better life.
And if you're not getting your daily fruit and veggie intake, stick around. The A to Z of vitamins may have the answer for you.
We'll see you soon here on the House of Wellness.
Time for A to Z of vitamins. Now, Gerald,
Yes,
with us, of
Zoe.
course, and for many women, We are juggling work, family life, and it keeps us so busy, right? But the end result is your healthy diet goes out the window, you're not sleeping as much, you're lethargic, you're tired. What can we do to keep our women healthy?
90% of us, Zoe, don't get the recommended intake of fruits and vegetables across the day. Now, that's an independent government-sponsored research paper a couple of years ago. So of 100 people, only 10 are actually eating the recommended amounts.
Okay.
So what we've got to do is either reassess that, which takes time and a commitment, as we've seen, or you can look at supporting yourself with a multivitamin to address the nutritional deficiencies that just seems to be so common.
Okay. So we can take a supplement like these long term?
Yes, you can.
And how soon will I start to feel better?
Look, it depends, and how long's a piece of string. But sometimes with a multivitamin with lots of vitamin B, often within days, you will just feel a little more vital, a little more, well, with the pace you live at, with all of the things you're doing, you should be taking
2 bottles.
Okay. It's quite a good option though, because we often focus on in the A to Z one
Yes.
thing, maybe a magnesium, maybe the Ds, but the all-rounder is your multi.
Well, and that replaces, it should never replace food.
Yep.
But the statistics show that it might have to.
Really good option. Alrighty. The A to Z of vitamins brought to us by Swiss, Australia's #1 brand in vitamins and supplements. And by the way, for more info on this series, just head to our website, houseofwellness.com.au.
Okay, so this is a big one. I've discovered beauty sleep is a real thing.
Good for you. Zoe.
Okay, so we're going to talk our house fave, and this week it is Skin Doctor's Collagen Beauty Renew Shots. Now, it's a supplement best taken at night that aids with skin repair and cell regeneration. Now, we know that collagen is a major component, right, of our skin. How does it work when we take it? Is it a supplement, Gerald? Talking collagen, ingesting? Not rubbing?
Collagen, Zoe, is the most abundant protein in our body. But the problem is, as we age, which Ed and I are approaching,
I know, I didn't want to bring it up, but you needed to say
we
it.
don't replenish it as well and as efficiently, particularly with the intake, the nutritional intake we have. So we don't replace it and replenish it as much as we do.
Because, you know, studies have shown that collagen peptides or supplements containing collagen may help slow the ageing process and reduce the wrinkles and dryness, but I don't understand how.
Well, basically over time, if you don't have enough collagen in your skin, the structure starts to fall apart. So, and that's not just skin, but also in muscles and ligaments. A very important component of all of those is collagen. It's our body's demanding it all the time, wanting more and more and more. But as I said, sadly,
it depletes.
We don't make it as efficiently.
See, because, you know, it's recommended to drink a shot of Collagen Beauty Renew every evening because I've heard our skin is more responsive at night while we're sleeping, correct?
Makes sense.
The magic 2 letters here are RE. So we rest at night, we rejuvenate, we re-nourish. All of these things, and you can imagine across the day, your skin is being pounded by UV light, UV radiation, pollution.
Makeup,
all of those things. So when it's in its natural state at night, after you've moisturised, logically, if you can feed it, how simple and logical is that?
You know what? I love doing shots at night.
Hey, there we go. Great information. Gerald and Zoe, thank you. Stay with us. We've got more after the break here on the House of Wellness. Welcome back. Well, next we've got a great house hero to introduce you to. At the tender age of just 15, this week's house hero came face to face with a cultural tradition that would change the direction of her young life forever.
Before she was even considered an adult, Shar was about to enter the world of an arranged marriage. But thanks to the intervention of one special person, Shar's marriage didn't happen, and now she's helping other young girls who find themselves in that situation.
The hero in all of this is my dad. He is the one that needs all the credit for my success and everything in my life. He was the one that gave me that opportunity to choose my future. He's the silent hero.
At the tender age of 15, Shar found herself at an engagement party, but she was shocked to learn she was being betrothed to an older man she'd never met. If ever a girl needed a hero, it was now. Going against his wife's plan, Shar's stepdad intervened to protect his stepdaughter.
And for the first time in my life at 15 and a half, I was actually asked by him, is this what you want? So I actually said no. He made the situation disappear.
As Shar grew and became a successful businesswoman, her travels made her aware of the plight of rural, underprivileged girls in India.
1 in 100 rural girls go to school. What happens to the other 99?
Her hero's gift was to get a second life.
And I realised in that moment that gift that my dad gave me was going to be paid forward to these girls.
Using her own magazine, Why, she began to fund the charity she created, Project Rani. Every $60 Project Rani raises provides hot meals, schooling and clothing for one girl a month. A global gesture of love, all started from one stepdad's gift and his belief in his stepdaughter's potential.
And I believe if anyone's been given a special gift like that, don't keep it to yourself. Pay that gift forward.
Beautiful story, isn't it?
Amazing.
And I think it's also important to say that this was by her blood family and her stepfather was the one that gave her the option.
Yep.
So it was arranged before and he kind of stepped in last minute. But so proud of him for doing that.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Now, team, Spring Racing Carnival in full swing, as we said.
You're
Christmas
very
party.
spring.
I am,
months
aren't
away.
I? Yeah.
Really, really appreciated your hangover cure stories today. There was some dissent amongst the team that I sampled every one of these cures except the glass of olive oil. So just carry on amongst yourselves.
Skull.
No,
Go for it.
But I didn't get the hangover first.
No, I see that.
Get it next
Preemptive,
week.
is it?
Can I show you my tie?
Yes, please.
Oh, please.
Oh, excuse me. I was supposed to ask.
Thank you, Gerald.
I was like, you're very interesting.
Forget about the olive oil, but I lined up
Back to you.
What a great segue.
at the Sydney Olympics. I lined up for an hour to buy this tie, and I'm wearing this on behalf of us all for Gary Robinson from the Australian team in the Invictus Games, who we chatted to last week. And can we say, Gary, you are an absolute hero.
Absolutely.
And
We're so proud.
we are immensely proud of what you've done.
Yes, and we're
Disgusting tie, but we're immensely proud.
That's from the Olympics.
Yeah.
If you can't see, it's just the colours are so gaudy, but it is from the Sydney Olympics, and you did line up. So good on you.
Thank you, Zoe.
Excellent. Now, if you'd like some more from the show today, just Google House of Wellness and make sure you join us next week, team. Got a really special show for you. We're live from Melbourne for our first spring special.
Yes, that's right. We're going to celebrate everything from makeup looks to puppies.
Oh, yes, in case you get a little bit of hay fever. That's what that's about. We want you to come and join us. Just head to our website, houseofwellness.com.au for details. We'd love you to come down. We have loads of great giveaways and lots of fun.
And Spring Cup. Carnival.
Yeah.
Cup. Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
Have you mentioned it? Yeah, it's Spring
good
Carnival.
stuff.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you, Gerald.
excited.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Gerald. Thanks to all the team and thanks to our friends at Chemist Warehouse as well. We hope you have a healthy and very well week.